this part is also important for us for our homework. We will need this. Effectivity is, well, you have some party, person, or whatever, some object, and there is another entity, and maybe there is an effectivity date for that relationship. Like this address is effective within a certain date range. May happen. Or employment between a company and a person has an effectivity date. It starts some day or ends in some day. So that's how it is. So the next one is actually really what's about dates, places, and persons. That is an action. I will start describing you action. So basically an action has a time, a location, and a performer. So like our bus driver. Maybe location in this case is a moving location. Or maybe this location is a path in this case. So what I have is, I have an action, a party, it has a location, it has a time reference. It is happening in certain time. This is how we describe. So, but action itself has some other features, other properties. Because actions are proposed and implemented. You propose an action, and after some time it is implemented. Because in our case, for example, with the bus, with the route, with the specific schedule, you are scheduling it. That is not being performed. But you also have to keep track of if it is performed, if it is if it is being done, if it is finished, if it is abandoned, if it is cancelled. You have to differentiate all of these things. In the requirements, it is asking you to do that. One way of doing it is having an action status. But this is better implementation. I will explain why. To have different subclasses for each type of action. I can start with like having a proposed action and an implemented action. If my application is simple enough, that's good enough for me. But I may be having more, like an abandoned action, a proposed action, an implemented action, and a completed action. Actually, action is in the root, is in the top. If you plan something, there's a proposed action, and what you do is if it is abandoned, then you copy everything in here, this one into here, and maybe there are some edit, of course, not maybe, but of course there are some edit properties in here. You describe why it is abandoned and when it is abandoned. So you write about the reasons so that you can keep track of them later. And there is an implemented action. That means that it's being implemented in the phase of implementation. When it is completed, you copy this in here. That is completed. But when it is not, it is still in here, in this type. That is how it works. You can also have a suspension. During the implementation, you say like not during. You propose it. For example, it may be, and you suspend it. That means you are postponing it. You proposed an action that it was due to start at a certain time, but when you suspend it, that means that you are rescheduling it to another time. You shouldn't be changing the time in here, because then you wouldn't be able to keep track of the suspension. And also, when you're implementing something, during that course, you can have a suspension. It's under implementation, but in halfway through, you're suspended it. You will continue. That is why you have it over here.